Oh, everybody, what's going on? We won again. It was a tough little match, though. We're going to talk about it today and a new little setup just for this match. Going to be a different one on Sunday, but bear with me, guys. Frustrating match, though, against Real Oviedo, who obviously is one of the promoted teams this season. They play pretty exciting football. I watched a match against Madrid. They did a pretty similar thing, if I do remember correctly. And I don't know. They play a type of football that I like to see from one of these newly promoted side, and then that was giving Barcelona trouble, especially because I think Barcelona struggle in the early stages of matches, and have for the past couple games, and definitely did today. Oviedo created some chances, had a bunch of corners immediately after one after another. It seemed like Barcelona did a pretty good job getting out of it, and then Joan Garcia made one of the worst decisions I've seen in a very long time, coming out of his box all the way, not booting the ball away, missing his pass to Marc Casero, and then playing it right to an Oviedo player who, in all fairness, Reina put a great strike on the ball, struck it from long distance over the back line to an empty net, and scored. Right? It's frustrating to see, but I think those are the mistakes that I would expect from a young keeper. He's 24 years old. He's never played in that high of a line or a high line really at all. And he's going to make mistakes like that. Like, that's not surprising at all. Later in the game, though, he made some good saves, had one really, really strong arm out for a ball going across the net that might have found another Oviedo striker or something like that, and helped push the team forward. So I'm okay with it. Obviously, I'm not okay with it. Right? I am frustrated. It's gonna come down from his score, and it's something we need to keep an eye on. But for someone who has been awkwardly coming out of his box for the past couple games, not awkwardly, but getting used to it, we'll say mistakes like this are gonna happen. We just kind of have to rock and roll with it. And obviously, I think he did enough to kind of not make up for it, but show that he was still able to get back into the flow of the game, not have it weigh on him through the rest of the game. He was able to make his throws. He was able to roll the ball out between two Oviedo players to Frankie de Jong making a run further into the match later on. And I think that's important to be able to get over a mistake, move on, especially as a goalkeeper, such a mentally straining and important position. Good to see for the most part. Obviously not perfect, but the rest of the side, I think it was a little bit all over the place. I think there was a lot of cohesion today, especially from guys like Marcus Rashford, who I felt like he hasn't really fit in super well in a couple of the matches today. I didn't think that at all. I thought he fit in really well. He made a couple of really good decisions. Looked like the team knew what he was going to do, and he knew what the team wanted to do. And I really liked to see it. I thought he was really solid. Obviously, they didn't create the best, especially in the first 45 minutes. It didn't go great, but we'll get into the ratings as we go here, and kind of talk about each player specifically as we go. Starting off with Garcia, I'm gonna give him a 5 because I think he became around a lot better. Obviously, he's the directly caused a goal, and so it can't be much better than that, but it is what it is. Moving to the back line, I thought Gerard Martin was pretty solid. Made a couple good tackles, got beat for pace a couple of times, but was able to recover. Gerard Marlini, as some of you guys have been saying, I'm here in Italy right now. So, it just feels very, very good to me to see Paolo Maldini represented so well in our side now. But he did a solid job. Can't complain. 7.5. I think he did overall very fine. Going forward, not the greatest at all. Put a couple good balls in, but it just creatively is not thrilling, is not dangerous, and I think that's part of the reason they ended up moving Rashford over to the right, because we needed proper width. Martin wasn't providing that on the left like Balde can, and Rafinha was not providing that on the right either. So fine job moving to the back line. I think Kubarsi and Araujo did fine. Obviously Araujo scored the goal at the end of the game, which was a really good header. I'd like to see that more. I also have a real problem with the way this team does set pieces, bro. Oh my God. I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're always trying to do something. Just put the ball into the box, Doug. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why you're playing it short. Every time it ends up back at the fullback or Frankie de Jong, whoever's the furthest back defender for our set pieces. Just put the ball into the box. Obviously, today we saw we can score headers, especially against these La Liga teams which have shorter players. They aren't all 6'3" from the factories in Newcastle, right? It's not the same thing. And that's something I'm frustrated at. But I think Araujo and Kubarsi both did fine. Struggled with Rondon a little bit. He's obviously a very physical, very, very talented striker, especially for a team at that level. And I think he did a good job against us. But I don't know, not the greatest performances from either one of them. One intervention from Araujo does stand out to me when he blocked a ball coming across the net, kind of in a last-minute, last-ditch tackle, and I think that's great to see. I think that's part of the reason I want him in there, because he's longer, he's faster, he is more athletic than every other center back we have, and I like seeing those kind of things from him, especially in a game where it was difficult for us. So overall, Araujo probably a 7.5. Kubarsi maybe a 6.5. Not the greatest, not the most stellar performance from him by any means. And then moving to right back, I think Eric Garcia did a fine job. There were a couple times where I had some questions. Obviously, ended up scoring the first goal, but I'm not going to give him that much credit for that, if I'm going to be honest. But was intense, especially going forward. He's got a little bit of light in his eyes, which I think is cool to see. Not stellar, not terrible. 6, 7. I think 7 is probably where I'm at, especially considering he scored maybe 7.5 for the goal. Moving to the middle, oh my God, dude. We'll get to Pedri in a second. Casado, not great today. I have a big problem with him, mostly because, or not a big problem with him, but I have a thing that I always see when he plays, or I see very often, where a lot of the times he makes a really good tackle. And it happened at one point earlier today where we were kind of having the opportunity to counter a little bit off one of their counters, and he made a good tackle, won the ball back, but he didn't like continue to win the ball, if that makes sense. He didn't keep the ball. He didn't keep moving it forward or keep possession all that well. And I feel like sometimes he makes a good tackle, but it doesn't always connect. It's a little frustrating. And today he just was not great. Obviously, the team didn't play that well. It wasn't only him, but having a little bit more cohesion and collectiveness and just, I don't know, passing ability in the middle was, I think, important. I think bringing Frankie de Jong on in the second half, I thought Frankie was stellar. Obviously, I'm biased, bro. It's my cousin, basically. But I think he was fantastic. And Casado, I'll give him a 6, maybe a 5.5. I wasn't impressed today. And it's sad because I think these are the matches that we want him to see him performing. Obviously, it's a kind of a not ideal squad all around with Rafinha on the left and Rafinha on the right, Rashford on the left instead of Lamine and Rafinha and Lewandowski through the center and Balde on the left and Koundé on the right. It's not the most ideal team. It's kind of a weaker team. So, I don't know. Maybe there's more hope for Casado, and I'm not going to close the door on him or anything like that. But got to keep my eye on how that develops and everything moving forward. Pedri, I thought he was amazing. This guy's fantastic, dude. And also, anybody I know I got a bunch of younger guys here watching. If you are in school, if you are in academy teams, if you're playing football and you want to be a midfielder, watch the last 30 minutes of that match and Frankie de Jong and Pedri working together. It's unbelievable. I was watching it a lot more closely and just seeing how Frankie and Pedri just operate, and it's a lot of, if Frankie can't find a pass out, he just finds Pedri, gives it to Pedri. If he can't find Pedri, he finds Kubarsi, who then can bounce it to Pedri or opens up space. And what Frankie de Jong does a lot is when he makes a pass to Pedri, he knows where Pedri's going to go with it, or he knows where Pedri will be after passing the ball. And so he'll run into space. He'll run against his man to open up space or to pull a defender away from a specific area that Pedri can then run in and operate in absolutely unbelievable fashion. These two, it has to be the best midfield pair in world football. João Neves and Vitinha, maybe. I don't know. I don't watch enough of them to even give them a sniff, but I would just think just because PSG is so good, maybe. But it's just different. Watching them operate and work together, I thought Pedri was perfect. Maybe a 9 because I thought he did lose the ball a couple times. This team just can't operate without him right now. It's unbelievable how good he is. And I think Frankie de Jong, when he came in, he was fantastic as well. I'm going to give him a 10, honestly. The balls he played into space, obviously got the assist for the winner for Lewandowski and played a few more in like that. I think he has a certain willingness to make a pass of that nature that I feel like some other guys will hold back. Specifically, Pedri will hold it back and find maybe a smarter move or a smarter pass. But in that instance, I don't know if that's the fairest comparison, if I'm going to be honest. But Frankie, unbelievable today. I think he's great. I think he's unbelievable. I've been a big proponent of him for a long time, rightly so, I think. Moving forward, Dani Olmo, I think he was solid, not great. There were a few instances where I was very frustrated with him. I want to see more end product from him this year. Last year, there were maybe the first 5-10 games, he was really dangerous. Haven't seen him take a ton of shots. Haven't seen him get into great areas. Now, I don't know if that's a tactical thing or not. I think it's more of him because for me, when he's been playing as that number 10 or the cam spot, he has been performing and scoring and doing things like that. I want to see more of that from Olmo. Absolutely, today's no exception. Still links up wonderfully, still is able to make a turn and run at space and make another pass very well. Not enough of that today. Not enough oomph from me, in my opinion. 6.5, 7. I think 6.5 probably because I'm frustrated. Moving to the front three. Ooh, nice voice crack there. Moving to the front three, I do think Rashford has been warming into everything a little bit. He's been playing better. He's been taking better shots. Had a couple good instances, good chances in the beginning, and made good contact with the ball. Put a shot on goal, made the keeper make a save. That's what I want to see. I still think that in the way that you saw Lewandowski, Rafinha, Lamine, Pedri, Fermin, Dani Olmo last season, all like kind of bouncing balls back and forth to make runs in between defenders and not necessarily score worldies, but tiki-taka their way to an open goal or a 1v1 versus the keeper. Rashford doesn't do that, and he's not really working with the team that way, and that's okay. But it's something maybe throwing into his arsenal a little bit would be cool. I don't know if he has the close control just yet to be able to do that in the same way. We got to watch more of him, but taking really good shots. If he scores, though, it's going to be a worldie, and that's obviously you want more than that. It's a little Real Madrid-esque where they needed individual brilliance to score a lot last season and the year before, where that's kind of what it feels like from Rashford, where it doesn't need to be like that with the way this team can pass and move around. So we'll see how that develops. I think Rashford was still very good, 7.5, 8. Ferran Torres, a little disappointing for me. Struck the ball very well early on. Obviously, it didn't go in. But really struggled against Eric Bailly, and which is weird to see him still playing football. But hey, good for him. I thought he was decent. Then Lewandowski came in and he cooked. Lewandowski just absolutely, I don't know. Bailly was looking like Maldini, like Gerard Maldini, and then Lewandowski came on, and then he looked like Eric Bailly, not from FIFA 18. You know what I mean? Ferran Torres maybe a 6.5. I don't know. I wasn't that impressed with him. And then Lewandowski came in. I thought he was great. I don't know, man. I go back and forth between who I think is better, who I think is the guy who should start most of the time, and I think it changes. I think it's different every other game, and Lewandowski looked great today. That's a good sign moving into the weekend, and then the PSG match, obviously, that follows. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it develops and everything, but Lewandowski looked great. Easy 9, 8.5 maybe. He scored a fantastic header, got into a lot of dangerous positions. Frankie and him are on the exact same wavelength, and I love to see that. Maybe they planned it at halftime or when Lewandowski was coming in, whatever it was awesome to see. And I don't know, dude. I'm happy that Lewandowski's cooking and scoring today, obviously scoring the winner. And then Rafinha, I don't know, I thought I want him to play on the left side, dude. We need Lamine back. If it's just so Rafinha can play on the left side, bro. He's just a different player there. I think it's really unfortunate that he's forced over on the right. I don't even think he was that bad there, honestly. I just think there's a version of him that's unlocked in a way we haven't seen this season yet. And so getting Lamine back on the pitch, you saw Hansi warming up Rudy Bardagy a little bit, and I think that was probably in a movement to either unlock Rafinha probably or Rashford on that left side, have a more Lamine-esque player on that right. And we'll see how that develops. I need Rafinha on the left side, though. I need it in my veins. I need it now. We'll see how that goes moving forward. But overall, dude, a win's a win. 3 points is 3 points, and that's the important takeaway here. Not perfect. Doesn't really matter. Every game doesn't have to be perfect. But right now we have to be perfect the way Real Madrid are playing in the league. They're not playing great football. They're scoring 5 pens in the past 7 games or something ridiculous like that. But they're winning every game. And we have to do the same. We have to continue doing the same, keep that pressure on them make a mistake, or give us the opportunity to win the league in those Clásicos. And we'll see how that develops. But, boys, thank you for watching. Visca Barça, we won. I'll see you guys post-game again, almost certainly on Sunday. I don't remember who we're playing. I think it's, I don't remember. I don't know. Then PSG on the week on midweek, and we'll see how it goes. Visca Barça. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe and like the video. Peace.